Hi, this is Lynn. Thank you for joining. Still finding my voice. Today, our letter is C. High kick optional. C stands for courage. Courage not to impress, not to reinvent myself that I forget who I am. Courage as in going live. And how do I take the woman I've been, the woman I am now, and the woman I'm becoming, and let them all sit at the same table without making it kind of weird? Because if I'm honest, a lot of us think growth means becoming someone totally different. And I don't want to be someone totally different. I want to be someone who's grown into a more fun, mature kind of person, someone who's more polished, more confident. I want to be more organized, definitely more healed, and more camera ready, more emotionally regulated. We are not trying to become strangers to ourselves. We are trying to become more fully ourselves. And you know what? That takes courage. One of the hardest parts of midlife and empty nesting and starting over and trying new things is that you begin to notice how many versions of yourself you've been. I realized that there's the younger me, the protective me, the performing me, the people-pleasing me. Anybody out there with me? The exhausted me, the brave me, sometimes the grieving me, and a lot of times the joyful me, the one who kept showing up even when I wasn't sure I had anything left in me. And sometimes we act like only one version is acceptable. We want to skip right to the evolved version. I forget about that sometimes. It takes time. The grounded version, the wise version, the version with the cute little notebook and the boundaries and the morning routine and the herbal tea. But real life does not work like that. Real life says, hey, you know what? You can be healing and still be tender, and you can be wise and still be awkward. You can be growing and still have days where you absolutely do not want to answer to anybody. Not one more text, one more phone call. And courage is not becoming perfect. Having courage is learning to say, this is who I've been. And you know what? This is what I've learned. This is what has helped. And I don't have to split myself into pieces just to move forward. That is powerful because a lot of us, including me, we were taught to disconnect ourselves in order to survive and to be pleasant, to be productive, and to be useful. And I was taught to be low maintenance, to be easy to love, to be fine. And being fine and being whole are not the same thing. How many times have you said, I'm fine, when you weren't? Same. And a lot of us are waking up to that. Talking about courage, I have to talk about this last week. I think it was Wednesday. I was going to be on a phone call, and there's about 10 of us on the phone call. So a half hour before the Zoom meeting, I thought, you know what, Lynn, do something courageous. And I thought, what would that be? Something really hard, like going live for the first time. So I thought about it, but I've never gone live. So I was a little anxious. I had some trepidation. And to be honest, I didn't want to do it. But I knew that if I didn't do it, I would regret it. So I sat down on my sofa in the living room and I pressed go live. The panic set in. I have to laugh at it now, but then it wasn't laughable. I mean, I wasn't laughing. I was nervous. My voice was shaking like it periodically does. And I thought, well, Lynn, don't worry about it because no one's going to know you went live and no one's going to show up. So I talked for probably 5 minutes on the live and knowing that it's going to be rewatched by other people at a different time. And then all of a sudden I saw there's someone there on the live. And it was okay. I felt okay about that. And so I finished wrapping up the call or wrapping up the live, going live, and realized that I did it. I finally did something that was so hard, so difficult for me to do live for the first time ever. Now I have a friend named Lana Martinez who goes live all the time. So I've had the advantage of watching Lana do that. She'll do it at fundraisers. She'll go live at dances, at weddings, and she's having a grand old time laughing, talking to people. And I always thought, boy, Lana seems fearless. But you know what? I bet she didn't start out fearless, just like me, just like all of us. Something is scary, and we have the courage to give it a try. And boy, after I finished, I jumped on that call and I was like, woohoo, I did it. It was so exciting that I finally did it. And then I recorded a little segment after that to say, hey, it wasn't that bad. And all I need to do is to remind myself to have courage. I'm not skydiving. I'm just getting on a live video on, I think it was Facebook or Instagram. I was going live for the first time, but I got over that fear, and that's empowering. So my hope for you today is to just take one little step forward. Just think of this in the voice method and take courage in yourself. Have courage. Just take one little step. Just write it down. What do I need courage for to move forward? If you write it out, you read it out loud, and then think about it, maybe even dream about it. When you wake up, you may just have a little bit more courage to actually accomplish that thought, that thing, that phone call that seemed overwhelming the day before. So I know that you can do it. And I say that a lot on these podcasts. Just give it a try. High kick optional if it gets too tense, but you don't need to panic every time an old pattern appears. And what I mean by that for me is an old pattern is, no, I don't want to do that. So I'll just go do something else. I'll go on social media instead of actually just having courage in doing it. I learned so much about myself this week, and I'm hoping this will help you as well. I hope it will help you to have more courage and a better relationship with yourself. And that part of me that used to shut down when I really needed courage, that's the part of me that used to over-explain. The awkwardness meant danger, so I might as well just keep quiet. But this podcast has taught me to learn to speak up, to use my voice, that my voice is important. And you know what? Your voice is important. Your thoughts are important. What does courage look like every day? It might look like letting yourself rest without calling yourself lazy. It might look like speaking up without needing to say it perfectly. It might look like being the fun one in the room and also letting people know when your heart is tired. That takes courage. It might look like trying something new, like skydiving, going live, or even just going skateboarding. It's remembering that we're not instantly going to be good at everything, but with practice, we have progress. Because I think a lot of us are trying to drag old expectations into new seasons. I know I am. I get caught up in that. And then I wonder why I feel disconnected. I don't need any more pressure. You don't need any more pressure. And we just need more honesty. So if you are in a season where you feel a little in between, not who you were, not fully who you're becoming, maybe a little tender, a little hopeful, a little confused, but still stronger, I want you to know that the in-between space is not meaningless. That's what it feels like to have peace inside. I still want to laugh. I want to love for real. Thank you for joining Still Finding My Voice. Please follow this podcast and please join our Facebook group. It's called Still Finding My Voice Community, and it's free. See you next time.